end of the day, I'm not about to fault Spuddy Face for what he did because in reality, like you said, now he's able to get on the internet, right? Just like what Ant said on the Wednesday show.
Where's he from in the town? Like, where is he?
We don't know. He ain't got no big homies.
Oh, shit.
He ain't got no big homies. We do not know.
That's a real native right there,
like,
too.
Where in the town do he, like, say, like, where he...
We don't know. He don't got no big homies.
Crazy.
He don't got no... He is a non...
7-1, you ain't from the Ville, you ain't from Seminary.
I was
you ain't from the murders, you ain't from the killers. Where you from, my nigga? You ain't from Dogtown, what, nigga?
Come from Yellow Forest.
I got niggas in Richmond, South, North, 8th Street. South, where you from, my nigga?
North, South, West.
Man, niggas know me.
We gotta get some hats. Give him some hats. Give him some hats. Y'all put on y'all hats, man. Come on, you gotta put on your hats.
We don't know.
I broke that one. My hat was too big for it. I broke it.
Come on, we outside. Hats 2026.
So I did. So I'm speaking from experience, and I know DC. Me and DC were really close at a point in time, and he explained the situation. He said,
"So where's he from?"
Oh, I don't know.
Nobody knows. That's the crazy part. That's what we're trying to figure out.
He grew up in the system. He didn't have no parents or nothing. He ain't got no big homies, no little homies, no nothing. So what I'm saying is, with DC though, he explained the situation to me back in 2019, 2020. He said that 2020, I'm sorry, let me reiterate that before he get on the internet and say, oh, she's lying with the woo-woo.
This week's episode of No Jumper went left in a way only No Jumper can. Ant and Jaleese were in rare form, and the conversation around Turtle and DC running into each other quickly turned into something bigger than the original situation. Instead of focusing on the run-in, the panel started zeroing in on where DC is really from, and that's where things got messy. Everybody on that panel already knows DC is from Oakland. That part isn't debatable. But for whatever reason, the conversation shifted from city to specific block, like that's the ultimate stamp of authenticity. And honestly, that's where the logic starts to fall apart. Not everybody from Oakland grew up banging a clearly defined block, and not everybody who's really from somewhere needs to over-explain their geography to be valid. Now, does DC have a single hood that he loudly claimed growing up? Maybe not, and that doesn't automatically disqualify him from being from Oakland. What does matter is his history, his relationships, and the people he's been around. DC has posted old pictures showing him in the field with real dudes, people he clearly had relationships with at different points in his life. You don't just fake years of connections, energy, and familiarity with a city like Oakland. That kind of history usually shows itself naturally. Trying to argue that he's not from Oakland just because he didn't plant a flag on one exact block feels like reaching. Oakland culture has always been more fluid than that. Different eras, different politics, different dynamics. Being from Oakland doesn't always look the same for everyone. Where Jaleese made a strong point was the big homie conversation. DC seems young, and a lot of people from his generation genuinely didn't come up with traditional big homies the way older generations did. By the time many of these youngsters were coming of age, a lot of the so-called big homies were already locked up, deep in addiction, chasing money, or simply not doing the job of guiding the next wave. That disconnect caused a lot of younger dudes to lose respect for that structure altogether. So it's not shocking if DC doesn't have clear big homies. His generation moved differently. And then there's Ant. When Ant started naming multiple Oakland hoods back to back, it told its own story. He's from LA, but the reason he knows all those neighborhoods isn't because he studied a map. It's because he's been through the system. Prison puts you in contact with people from everywhere, and over time, you learn cities, hoods, and politics just by surviving and networking. That's not internet knowledge, that's first-hand exposure. At the end of the day, this whole debate says more about how obsessed people are with labels than it does about DC himself. You can question blocks all day, but you can't erase someone's city, their history, or the people they've stood next to over the years. Oakland is Oakland, and being from there doesn't come in just one form. This whole situation really comes down to people confusing identity with geography. Being from a city like Oakland isn't always about loudly claiming one specific block. It's about lived experience, relationships, and the environment that shaped you. Not everybody's story fits the old school mold, and that doesn't make it less real. DC being from Oakland isn't up for debate. What is questionable is why people feel the need to interrogate his background as if there's only one valid way to come from somewhere. Generations change, politics change, and the structure that once existed, big homies, clear pipelines, strict boundaries, doesn't operate the same anymore. A lot of younger dudes had to figure things out on their own, for better or worse. At the end of the day, authenticity shows over time. It shows in how someone moves, who they're connected to, and how they're received by people who really know the city. You can question blocks, but you can't erase a person's roots or rewrite their lived reality. That's the part that really gets lost in these conversations.